Hello and welcome to Eyewitness Report on Channels Television, where your pictures and videos count a great deal. Keep them coming. Today, we'll visit Ayinke Timson in Satellite Town, Lagos, where a drain constructed may have been poorly delivered, and now the residents call for help. The Money Wives, Money Married tales of the Becheve people attract more attention as groups meet to end this culture shock. And lastly, as the country's population is projected to hit over 390 million people by 2050, more pressure mounts on existing infrastructure. How are we bridging the gap? Join us for these and more. I am Chris Elems. The place of basic infrastructure as a tool engaging the heartbeat of world economies cannot be undermined. Now, with a rising population figure that could tar 390 million people by 2050, Nigeria's infrastructure will come under severe pressure. Now, how has this present administration fared in its attempt to plug the gap in the last 3 years? Join us. Social and economic infrastructure such as roads, rail, maritime, aviation, schools, hospitals, housing, water, power play a critical role in ranking nations in terms of development and global competitiveness as they contribute to the ease of doing business. Nigeria's infrastructure needs has for decades been treated with kid gloves, leading to a deficit of over $300 billion. In order to plug this gap, there has been an increase in budgetary allocation to infrastructure development. Available data shows that while in 2015, only 9% of the country's budget was allocated to infrastructure, there was an increase to 25% allocation in 2016, 30% in 2017, and 28% in 2018. Several roads such as the Ikorodu-Shagamu Expressway, Tatabu Road in Niger State, Enugu-Port Harcourt Road, and several others across the country are now being rehabilitated.
The strategic importance of this road is the support and access it provides to the agrarian communities in Ogun and Lagos State. The present government is very strong on agri and also very strong on industrialization and indeed on energy. And no road, really, very few roads tick all those boxes like this road does.
The entire road is divided into 4 sections.
In order not to be left in the dark, some state governments are also taking on projects that are meant for the federal government with the hope that there will be reimbursement in the course of the project.
For states like Delta State that have already taken on such serious project from the federal government, I think it will be proper for the federal government to actually pay back their money on time.
This is one of such projects in Delta State, Ozoro-Ughelli Road, a major highway that has been left abandoned for a long time, prompting the users to seek alternative roads, which are often longer and time-consuming. This work is meant to put the road back to use and improve on the socio-economic situation of the people. The provision of potable water is key to improved health care, which is why the Abo Ogwash Water Dam project was initiated in 2005 for 600 million naira by the federal government. It's sad that that project may have been abandoned. The Commissioner for Information in the state expresses his thoughts.
The state government has tried to intervene in rehabilitating, reconstructing some of the federal roads. You can see the one we're doing in Ozoro. We did the one on Abraka Obiaruku, Agbo Road. We also worked on Saple and Mukpe Road. These are all federal roads. Then when you are entering Warrior around Osubi, we're also fixing some of those roads there. You look at the dam in Ogwashukwu. I just pray it's not going to be condemned to history, but I believe God that they know how important that dam is. It's a federal government project, and it has gone through several governments. These are also part of the things I think we impart in the community that has not been touched. So I think Delta we are really calling for attention. I think the federal government really need to do more in Delta.
Similar feeling is shared in and around Benue State based on the state of the Gboko-Awaji Road and a few major connecting routes.
Our role as the food basket of the nation is not appreciated, because this is where you should have proper road grids to allow for easy flow of traffic. Remember that all the expenses that the truck drivers spend on damaged vehicles, on fuel, and so on and so forth, delayed travel, will be transferred to the cost of the food product.
We need to actually applaud the government that is doing this one. Last time I saw Mr. Fashola, he was there on inspection and everything was fine. And before the December, they did something quite commendable.
While it's mixed feelings as far as road construction is concerned, the early works 4 of the second Niger Bridge is near completion. This is according to the Federal Controller of Works in Anambra State. However, there is still so much work to be done.
Right now, as we have seen up there are a lot of activities that are ongoing. The contractor, they just finished the casting of this pier this morning. While they are casting, as we met them there, they are casting the piers of Axis 80. In all, we have driven into the earth about 310 now, piles of diameter 914.
Housing deficit in the country is said to be about 17 million units. Efforts are ongoing to deliver a walkable housing program for the country. This is according to the Minister of State for Power, Works and Housing in a recent interview he granted.
An affordable housing to citizen A may not really be an affordable housing to citizen B. So what are we looking at? We are looking at the low income bracket. Now, if you look at the low income bracket, you are not also only talking about affordable housing, but you should also talk about housing that is adaptable to that person in terms of culture, in terms of family size, and in terms of status.
At the moment, the rail subsector appears to be attracting some attention with the ongoing construction of standard rail gauge, including the Lagos-Ibadan-Kano rail project. This is not to say there isn't more work to be done, as a number of abandoned coaches still lie in parts of the country, once a hub for rail activities. The Nigerian Recovery and Growth Plan incorporates 60 national development strategies, which include infrastructure, industry, and power sector development. Therefore, to stay on the right path would require that the government keeps a realistic and sustainable budgetary allocation towards the actualization of the outlined plans.